Well, I'm still in pneumonia recovery mode, so I've not been super active. Um, but I've been playing a lot of guitar, um, and I thought that maybe review would be helpful to someone about this guitar made by Traveler Guitar. This is called an Ultralight, um, along with this speaker from Positive Grid. It's called the Spark. And I have only been playing guitar for 10 months, and that makes me far from even an amateur. Um, but I have found that sometimes getting reviews from pros or like super users is not always that helpful, because when someone is a professional, um, sometimes it's been so long since they've been a beginner or an amateur that they don't even kind of remember what it's like to be an amateur. And they also sometimes have extremely high standards because they're professionals. And then because of those high standards and because of sort of the forgetfulness of what it's like to be a beginner or an amateur, they say things that are true but aren't that helpful for a beginner. So anyway, that's just my opinion, and that's not just for guitar, that's for all kinds of things. And so for me, I like watching YouTube videos of people who are a bit more like me, let's say beginner or amateur or a hobbyist, not necessarily pro level, but still have some insightful, thoughtful things to say. And I hope that I have some thoughtful things to say. So I was at my friend's house, and I was playing a little bit with his ukulele, and I just thought, oh, this is really fun. And I knew just like one or two little chords or tabs, I guess, from when I played in high school. And it got me thinking to get a guitar. And instead of a ukulele, I bought like a junior guitar, like a 3/4 size, and I didn't like it. And so I ended up picking up a full body Fender acoustic guitar at a pawn shop for $50, and I've been playing that for the last basically 7 months. And I know five chords, E, D, G, C, and A minor, and I can play like four worship songs. That's pretty much all I bought it for. So that's kind of my level. Um, if that interests you or if that's somehow applicable to you. And my friend who talked me into starting this YouTube channel, he bought this for me as a birthday gift, and not just as a birthday gift, but if you've seen some of my other videos, you may know that my family and I are selling our house come April of 2025. And basically, we're going to be going on the road full time, camping throughout the United States and beyond. And so I didn't even know this type of thing existed, but he found it for me and bought it for me, so that it's a very minimalistic package that we can take from campground to campground. And it has been awesome. I've had it about 1 month now, um, and just going to tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, what I think it does well, and what I think it doesn't do well, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's a little bit of the background. Okay, so yeah, basically, so you get this guitar, and the fretboard is full length, so it feels exactly like a normal guitar. Um, it had like a leather loop here on the top, so you could, hang it on a hook, but I didn't need or want that, so I cut that off. It was just on there with a zip tie, so you could always reattach it. And then basically, the strings go in at the top, and then they wrap around the back, and then you can do the tuning. So he put the strings on for me, and as you can imagine, it's a little bit cumbersome getting your fingers in here. So I think he had the winding tool, but changing strings on this, I think, is a bit more cumbersome than a normal guitar. But tuning it is really not bad. I've tuned it, I don't know, 10 times already, and it's a little tiny bit more awkward than up here, but really not much. So it's, yeah, really compact. And then here it has a knob for a strap, and then it has one here as well, and that's also where it plugs in. It comes with this case, or at least mine came with this case, um, and yeah, that's basically where the guitar goes, obviously. Sorry, boring you with obvious information. And then there's a front pocket here. I'll show you what came with it and what I have in there. So it comes with this, I think they call it a lap rest. It's basically a bar with some padding, and then there's 2 holes here, and then there's like a little detent right there you can see to kind of hold it in place. So you just kind of squeeze this a little bit and put that in there. I have really not been using this, and that's basically out of a desire to be as minimalistic as possible. I think like a backpacker, and a backpacker says, if I can get by without it, I will. So I have really not been using this. Not because it's not useful, it is. It's a better experience playing with this. But I'm just trying to see if I can get by without it. And then what I did is I just took some paracord and tied a overhand on a bite and a taut line hitch, and I just made for myself a very simple, obviously rudimentary strap, which just goes in that front pocket. And I don't use this all the time. Actually, I don't use it that often, but it does. If you don't use this, then you find that your hand on the fretboard is doing more than just, holding down strings. It's also kind of lifting the guitar up, and that can be a little fatiguing, especially if you're kind of like leaning back, like, in a relaxed position. So anyway, this strap helps alleviate some of that. And then if I were to be standing, then I could use it. So yeah, anyway, it's obviously simple, but we're moving basically into our minivan where life will be quite simple. So, and then I bought a 3-foot long right angle to right angle cord, and that plugs in right here. I tried a couple other lengths, but for me, that's really all I needed. And again, we're going quite minimalistically, and naturally that plugs into the speaker. So let me tell you a little bit about this speaker now, and I'll bring you in a little bit closer. So I am really, really, really impressed with this speaker. I've owned 3 or 4 different Bluetooth speakers. I've had one from Bose. I've had a couple from JBL. At the moment, we've been using this one as a family. I think this is called the Go 3. Yeah, Go 3. And so a couple things really surprised me about this. Well, first of all, I think this is like $100, and this is like 30 or 40. So, I mean, it's more expensive. But this is a good bit louder than that one, and the quality is higher. Obviously, those are, well, I didn't measure the volume. That can be measured, of course. Quality is a little bit subjective. But when you take off this cover, which I probably should have done before I jumped on this video, you'll see the speaker arrangement. I'll try and show you that in just a second. There we go. So you can see, and I don't know much about speaker design, but you have basically 2 different speakers. And you can correct me, I don't know the technical terms for that. And I've taken these apart before, and this has the same arrangement. It has 2 different pieces that move. And I don't know the technical term. But these are bigger. I don't know how much bigger, but they are bigger. And they give you 2 different of these little covers. One's all black, one's this kind of gold. So I just kept the gold, threw away the black one. Yeah, so then on the side here, you have a power button and you have a USB-C. So that's how you charge it. And then on the top, you have the input for the guitar, you have headphones, you have volume, and then you have a preset button. And then this is also a knob here. And then you have a loop. And this came with 2 different loops. You could choose which one you wanted. Okay, so what really stood out to me about the speaker is that it's a little bit bigger. It's probably 30 or 40% bigger than this one, but the quality, I would say subjectively, is a lot better. The other thing I noticed, the battery life is like astounding to me. And I looked up the specs. This is a 1,000 milliamp battery, a milliamp hour battery, and this is a 2,500 milliamp hour battery. So basically this is, 2.5 times the battery capacity of one of these. And I think the battery capacity on this is quite good. So I was just been astounded how I haven't really needed to charge the battery very often. So basically what you do is you plug this in here, of course, and then this knob adjusts the volume from the guitar, and then these volume knobs adjust the Bluetooth volume. So what's wonderful is that we're going to be able to get rid of this. We're not going to take it with us, and this is going to be our wireless Bluetooth speaker to play music off of our phone. And I will say I really have been impressed with how um, basically flawlessly the phone connects to this. My experience with Bluetooth devices, headphones, speakers, is that very often, you turn on the device and it doesn't sync to your phone properly, and you have to manually activate it on the phone. Every once in a while, it's kind of hit or miss. This has been 100%. In the last month, I've probably used this, at least once a day, sometimes twice a day, and I've never had it not connect. I mean, I just turn on my phone or I turn on my phone, or I turn on this. I'm sorry, I turn on this, and as long as Bluetooth is on my phone, it connects instantly. It's fast and reliable, and actually quite a bit more than this, which surprised me because I imagine the manufacturers of this are really more well versed in music and tone, because it's more for instruments and not necessarily electronic design and connectivity, but it's really been amazing. The second thing, it's louder than that one is, and I always like blaring music as loud as possible. So although the whole package is quite small, it really is quite amazing with that. And then the other thing that's really cool is because you notice it has these plus and minus volume buttons, but it also has this wheel, and that's because you can play something over Bluetooth like a song, and you can be playing your guitar through it, and both things will come out of the speaker, and that's really cool. I've used that already a couple times. I'll just go into my music app and play a song that I'm trying to learn, and I'll play along. And you can change the volume of the music and of the guitar, so you can get your guitar below the level where you can hear the song, but then you can also hear your guitar, and that's really really cool. And there hasn't been any weird glitchy stuff like when you plug in the guitar, you lose the Bluetooth, or when you get the Bluetooth, it's really quite smooth. So I've been really impressed with that. Um, so yeah, that's the package that I have, and it all fits into this front pocket on the case. Well, obviously the guitar goes in here. Everything else fits in here. So it's been really compact for us, which is great. And then I just have a small capo and a small book where I've been just kind of jotting down the songs and things like that. One thing that I like about the electric versus the acoustic is I don't really need a pick anymore. When I was playing acoustic, I didn't like the sound of just kind of using my finger. I always really wanted to have a pick, and so the pickup is strong enough that I'm quite satisfied with just my fingers. In fact, I like it more because when you're close to the guitar, sometimes you hear like the flicking noise of the pick, and I don't hear that, and so that's really nice. The other thing is, and I had asked a friend about this, is like when I play C and I mute the top string on the acoustic, I can still kind of hear that top string, buzzing a little bit. Um, and I was told that the audience wouldn't hear it, but when you're close to the guitar, sometimes you can kind of still hear it. And this, I don't hear it, so it's kind of nice for me. And I'm not playing for any audience; I'm really just playing for myself. For me, it's actually like a cleaner sound being electric, so that's really cool. Um, yeah, the balance of the whole thing is a little different than a big acoustic, because with a big acoustic you can kind of wedge it between your leg and your arm so that your left hand is more free to move and really isn't having to support it at all. My left hand with this has to provide a certain type of support to keep the whole thing from falling down. And again, the strap helps with that. The little lap frame helps with that. But I would say that still there is a difference, and in that sense, an acoustic. I mean, acoustic's kind of awkward to play because you have to kind of wrap your whole arm around it, and it's hard to use in like a real relaxed recliner or chair. Harder, but I think that the acoustic has the advantage of sort of being able to use your body here to fix the neck in place so that your fingers can just move and not have to do any supporting. So I have noticed a little bit of additional like fatigue in my hand, my left hand. So um, yeah. So moving on from these two things, then comes in the app, and I have to say, I'm not a real technologically savvy guy. I kind of like the old world more than the modern world, And I'm pretty critical of apps. Like I think a lot of times apps have glitches and poorly thought out things that I don't appreciate. And I will say that this app is really good. And I'm going to show you some of the things in the app in just a minute here. Um, there's one or two things in the app that aren't like totally intuitive for me. Like there's a couple things you have to double tap, which, there's kind of no hint at that. And it took me a little while to figure it out. Like when you reconfigure amp settings, and then there's amps that you pick out, and then there's like little knobs, and you kind of touch and you kind of manipulate the knob almost like in real life. And it's a little glitchy, but the app is really cool. With the app, you can change like the equalizer. You can change, um, you can actually go into the app and go into tune, and then you can pluck the strings, and there's a tuner built into the app, and it's really good. Before that, I was just using a Fender tuning app on my phone and putting my phone next to the acoustic guitar and tuning it. But the app works really, really good for tuning. There's a built-in metronome, so you can choose beats per minute. And there's also a kind of a cool feature where you can tap with your finger. So like if you don't, if you know how fast something is beating, but you don't know the number, like 28 beats per minute or whatever, you can just tap, and then it basically teaches you or tells you what that beat per minute is, which is pretty cool. Then the other thing that I'll show here in a couple minutes, but it's also related to the speaker itself, is this preset button. And you'll see perhaps next to the preset button, that's kind of hard to see, that there's four, actually here, let me do this. Let me turn off Bluetooth, and that way it doesn't connect. And then I'm going to turn the speaker on. It's on now. And you can see that little red light, and you can see that the light moves. So basically there are four amp and pedal presets pre-programmed onto this. And basically by hitting this button, you can shuffle through those four presets. And then there's like 30 or 40 more that you can select on the app, but these are written to the speaker itself. So I don't know how good this is going to sound through a phone and everything, but we'll try it maybe. So I'll turn this up. So it's on preset number 1 right now. So it sounds like this. And then I hit it, go to preset number 2. Pretty similar actually. The ones I've chosen some custom ones. Number 3 and number 4. So I don't know how well that's going to come through this microphone. And also the differences between them are not severe, but they can be severe. You can program it to be like really grungy and death metal-ish. And then you can program it to be acoustic and super clean and quiet. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, overall, I have to say this is just like one of the coolest gifts I've ever received. Most of the time when I receive a gift, because I can be like a really picky and particular person, it's sort of like not the style or not the model or not the color that I would want. And it's often been such that it's really hard to surprise me, because whenever I'm interested in a topic, I tend to become familiar with products that are available for that hobby. And so anyway, to my friend who bought me this, I'm so really, truly grateful, not just for the gift and what it's going to bring to our lives in terms of music, but just the thoughtfulness. And yeah, just being surprised by something that I didn't know existed is just a rare treat for me. So yeah, I got rid of my acoustic. I've been playing this pretty much every day for the last month, at least once, sometimes twice. And I just have to say, I think it's a really, really great guitar if you value, minimalism, compactness, that kind of thing. So if those things are important to you, and you also desire to have a full-length fretboard so that you're not learning, on a ukulele or a junior guitar and then trying to transfer to a bigger one becomes problematic, then I think this thing is absolutely perfect. I really have no I really have no criticism for it at all. So um, yeah, I hope that's helpful to someone. Again, I'm a total amateur. I've been playing guitar 8 months, but I have found that reviews from amateurs, when thoughtful, can be really helpful. And combined with the review from, let's say, a professional, then it's been helpful to me to make good decisions. So I'm going to end the video now. If you're not interested in the app, but if you are, stick around. I'll transfer now to the app, and I'll just point out some of those things that I described so that you can see them live if that's helpful to you. So goodbye to some of you, and stay tuned for the rest of you. All right, so here we are recording. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the speaker here physically, which you can't see. And then I'm going to flip to this Spark app here. And first thing we're going to do is hit connect. There we go. And that's been my experience every time, is that it's really, really fast. Okay, so if I click up here on the top left, you see the 4 channels that are preset and programmed to the to my speaker itself. So as I hit that gold button, as you saw, which I'm doing right now, it cycles through those. Now I can hit all, and I can pick any of these that basically Spark has pre-programmed into the app. And there's also a way to search for even more on the internet that other people have designed. So we'll just take an example here for fun. So basically what you can do is you can push and click on the amp here in the middle. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. You double click on this little amp icon at the top here. And when you do that, you can choose from all these different amps. Well, I guess you have to buy that one. Okay, that one you don't have to buy. Okay, there's a couple new ones that you have to buy. So then on this large amp in the center, you can basically click and you can drag around. Right now I'm changing the gain, and you just kind of click on this little knob, and then you kind of move your finger back and forth as if you were physically holding the knob. And you can also hit this little button on the left, the on-off switch, and you turn it on or off. Okay. Then if you go up to the top here, you can scroll around and look at the different pedals. And if you click, then you can also push the button just like you were putting it with your foot. And you can also change these knobs. Right now I'm changing the tone knob, as hopefully you can see. So, and then what you can do is this is the part that tricked me a little bit. If you double click on this upper row of pedals like this, then you can choose other pedals from the mod equalizer range, and you can change that out like so. And then you go to the delay one and you double click the delay one, and then there's these different ones to pick. And then you go to the reverb one and you double click reverb, and there's the ability to change and customize all of these things. And most of this is beyond my skill set. I don't really know how all these pedals work, but I have, sort of entry level knowledge, and it's kind of fun to just play with. So what you can do is you can pick any of these, and then you can change around and modify any of them and make them custom. And then what you can do, and I'm not going to do this, but basically you can click down here, here at the top right, these 3 little buttons, and you can hit save to hardware preset so that it will send it to your actual speaker. And you can basically choose which of the 4 channels you want to do. Now I'm not going to do that because they're already on there. I don't want to change them, but you can do that. So that's really cool. The next thing that you can do is on the bottom right here, these 3, the hamburger, as you may know it called, you can basically go here and you can go to the tuner. And now I'm in the tuner, and so when I pluck, actually I got to plug the guitar into the speaker, no surprise there. When I pluck E, oh sorry, I didn't plug it into the guitar, my apologies. There we go. All right, when I pluck E, then this is what the tuner looks like. It's just a little bit out of tune. And the next one, and the next one. So it works really good, and it's silent. Basically, all you hear is the slight vibration. There's also the metronome that you can do, and then you just kind of you can just change this like a wheel. And this is also where you can do the tapping. So right now I'm tapping with my index finger, and basically the speed at which I tap, it basically assigns a value. So if you have a feeling for how fast something is, but you don't actually know the number, you can use this. And then you can play this metronome through the speaker while you're playing the guitar. So that's pretty useful as well. Then there's this equalizer that you can change for the normal Bluetooth speaker. So that's like going to change how your music will sound when it's coming through. That has nothing to do with how the guitar will sound when it's coming through. And then you can add other devices, but I don't have any. There are some other features I've really not played with yet. So you can, there's this music tab. I've not really explored that very much. And then there's basically, you can film yourself and you can upload music yourself. There's also right here, share to tone cloud. So basically what you can do is you can make a custom configuration of amp and pedal settings, and then you can send that basically to the community that uses this app, and they can download it. And here's also where you can select beats per minute for the metronome, and you can do the same tapping thing. The faster you tap, the faster you get beats per minute, and that will, again, you can turn that on while you're playing. So all right, well, I think that really wraps it up for the app. Obviously, I've not shown you everything that exists in the app, just the things I've used so far and the things I've been exploring. But again, this is not a pro video. This is just kind of amateur video. So I'm just giving you an idea of what's out there. And I hope it was helpful to you. And if not, just give this video a thumbs down so I know not to make junk like this again. In the meantime, God bless you, and I hope this helps you make a good decision about a purchase for yourself or for someone that you love. All right, folks,